Welcome to Smoking Eagle's Rod Shop, and in today's video we're going to be replacing the inner and outer window seals and the window track seals in my 3rd gen Ford van. Now this is the same for a bunch of Ford trucks and vans and cars, and it's even very similar to a bunch of GM vehicles back in the 70s, 80s. It's really easy. It's a good upgrade that I really value, honestly. I love driving around my old cars, but there's one thing I can't stand is when you're hitting them bumps and everything's rattling. And most of it is just your windows flopping around, because these seals, they've been getting beat up for 50, 60 years and they just need changed. So I'm gonna go over here on the passenger side and I'm gonna show you exactly how to do it. This stuff is pretty inexpensive and it's easy to change, just takes a little bit of patience. Let's jump right in. All right, so the first thing we need to do is remove this door panel. I've rolled the window down. There's a Phillips screw here to take off our window crank. We've got our armrest here, and there's 3 bolts in the bottom of here. I believe they're 3/8. There's a couple more nuts under the bottom of there. And then for the handle release, or door open close handle button switch, whatever you want to call it, and then we can pop this panel off. Now, one thing that I really like that Ford did back in the 70s is they have a really good panel clip system. GM used some plastic crap. They always break. They never grab. Ford did it right. They got these little metal clips and they work really well. I mean, look how old this panel is, and it's not pulling up in the corners or anything. Super nice. So this is still like that masonite cardboard type backed panel, so you have to be careful as you're popping them off of there because it's pretty brittle. But with the right pry bar and you just work your way down around, it's not too hard. So I'm gonna get this all popped off and then I'll show you what's next. 2 nuts here. Pull the handle off. Screwdriver action. Just like so. Keep your handle handy. You're gonna need to roll the window up a time or 2. Now I'm gonna go get a pry bar. We'll start popping this panel off. So I've got one of these fancy Pittsburgh little trim remover tools. These work pretty good. You just get right down underneath your clip. Once you find the first one, you want to get behind the clip and the panel and just pop it off there. I already did the top one here. Then you just kind of work your way down like this till you find the next one. Kind of pop out around it so you can see it real good, and then boom, pop it right out. There's another one. Work our way down and around. There's another one. There's one down here in this bottom corner. Bottom ones are a little trickier to get to. Because you can't get to the top side. There's one. There it is. Ah. There we go. Oops. Okay, and the bottom 2 fell off. So you can see how these clips work. They just got a little tab, and then they got the little arrow looking pinchers, and yeah, they just go right down in there. And man, does Ford put them like every 3 inches, which can be a pain taking it off. But I'll tell you what, these things don't flop around like every GM car and you to shut the door and whole bottom half of the panel's flopping. Kudos to you, Ford. That's a good one. Get these last 2 clips out so we can reassemble them on our panel. Put them on there now so we don't lose them. And I'm just going to set this out of the way. Now this door has this cardboard sound deadening stuff on here. The other door, that shit's already long gone. I'm just going to peel it off of here. We don't need it. Doesn't really do anything. I mean, it kind of sort of does, but it kind of sort of don't. I think it's really more to just help keep moisture out, but good enough. Now we've got to get our window off our track. To do that, we've got to take this corner window out. So that's got 3 screws across the top of here and this 1 bolt right here. They're Phillips, and I don't know what size that is. 7/16. So now it's time to remove our window from the window track. Like I said, you're going to need your handle handy. You're going to want to roll the window up until this wheel that the window travels in on the track is as close to that outside edge as you can possibly get it, which is about right there. Now with this loose, this whole track over here can kind of move and wiggle out of the way for you. It's like that close. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this Phillips screwdriver. There's 3 screws. There's one here, here, and there's one around in here somewhere. Take these loose, and they actually hold the track, the actual gear and window drive system in place. Holy crap, holy bat boy. That got her out. So, take those 2 screws all the way out. Now my window's right here. I'm just gonna drop her right down into the bottom of the door without breaking it. Just following the track right down in there. Right down in there like so. And it's leaned up against the inside of the door. Now we can take this and start removing all this old rubber tracking. So the way this stuff works, let me show you. It's just a rubber roll and it just pinches and slides in there. Depending on how crusty it is, it's gonna depend on how hard it is to remove. This side's actually in pretty good shape. No, it's not. It's in terrible shape. But compared to the driver's side, it's in a lot better shape. Maybe I didn't have to remove those screws on the driver's side because that door's been tweaked on a little bit by my grandpa. But just pry that out of there. Just like that. Just pops right out. And then it'll be the same with this one. The other side, this stuff was an absolute nightmare to get out. It's just so hard and dried in and crusty. Look at that. It just did not want to come out. It just came out like that in little crusty chunks out of the whole thing. But I just took a flat screwdriver and I'm going to tap it down through there and just bust all that out as far down as I can. And we'll go from there. Let me get that all chipped out of there and then we'll work on these 2 pieces. Better get safety glasses. Much better. I felt a piece hit my face and I was just like, oh, wake up call, dude. I'm going to show you how to remove this so that we can move this way. This is pretty simple. Just takes a little bit of prying. Sometimes you need some side cutters. Let me get you in here. So if you look right down in here, you can see that little tab. It just pops up and out like that. See that? Pops up and out. That one actually just broke. This one, just work your way across. And remember, you're going to see the top edge of your door, so you don't want to like chip the crap out of your door. But right there is part of that clip too. And I can show you on one of the new ones. This is what they're supposed to look like when they're new. And they just pop down in and grab that little slot inside the door. There's a slot every so often for these clips to clip into. So you've just got to get some sort of a pry bar in here. Pry it back away a little bit so you can see that clip. And if you can't get it to unclip and pop up, you can just get a little pair of side cutters in there and snip it off. I have these here, and you just get down in here like this and just chink, snip it off. And then once you get this piece out, that stuff will just fall down in the bottom of the door, and we'll just sweep that out later. Yeah, look at that. I just popped that one out with my finger because these are shot. So I'll keep working on that, and both sides are the same. So the inner and the outer, they clip in the identical way. They just got those little clips. This one has like a different clip on this spot. It's like a little triangle or a little arrow, but that one was a little tab. So, yep. I'll work these out and then we'll be able to move that and get the rest of that plastic out of there. I can get a hold of it. Here's the old one. There's the other one. Got a couple pieces of clip left in there. There goes one. There goes one. Okay, now that I've got those tracks out of there, you can see where like that one there's bent just a little bit, that one's bent just a little bit, and that one's bent just a little bit. I'm just going to take a screwdriver and my hammer and just tap them back in just ever so slightly so they're straight. Now that we've got those out, we can move this up and over here. If I can get this piece of rubber out of there. We are so close. Man, stuff is brutal. Need to like hold it like this and swing my hammer at the same time. And that's tough to do. I don't want it back there banging against that window, that's for sure. Look at all that crap. Just like one little tiny spot left. There we go. Just had to hit her from the other side. Alright, so now all we've got to do is put our new tracks in. To do that, we need to finagle this back over to where it goes. Kind of got it stuck on some junk. This is going to go right up in here. like so. And this goes right here, so it's lined up pretty close to where it needs to be. So here's our new seal. Now if you look on the back side of this seal, there's one spot with a little nub on it. This little nub is this like 45-degree angle here, and then there are ribs right here. You can see those little ribs. Those ribs are for the radius for this corner over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to shove this right up in here. Once I get this in a little further, UPS guy's here. He must be bringing my trim screws and some other essential items. Aha. That looks a little better. Just like so. Now it's in there. Perfection. So now, like I said, this little nub, I'm just going to shove it right up in here, right in this crease, like so. When you insert this, all you're doing is folding it. It has like a little lip here and a little lip here that grabs the inside of your track. It's like so. And then you just start working it down in. But you don't want to go too far. You just want to go a little ways and make sure that you like how this corner is, because once you get the rest of this in, there's really no going back and repositioning it. This one looks pretty good. It's like that. So I'm just going to keep going. You just go like that, work your way down. Take this, stick it right down through here. You just keep working her down in there. Just like that. Stick my hand in from down here, up through. I mean, I could basically do this one-handed. I mean, I'm just folding it and stuffing it in there. This corner, you want to make sure the lip really grabs good so it doesn't just pop back out of there. Stick this down in here, just like the other side. It's got those little ribs in it, so you can kind of just find its happy spot. Stick it in there. Like I said, now's the time to make sure it's fitting the way you want. Make sure you got enough material everywhere. 1/4 inch short on the bottom of the track isn't a big deal. Same thing, I'm just gonna reach up in here and pick up where I left off on that track. Sun's starting to beat down on me. About lunchtime, getting hungry. Perfect. Now, let's put our window back in. That will be the fun part. Now, I've got this track still loose here a little bit. I got these 2 screws out of here, so I need to figure out how that kind of positions. Right there's my 2 holes, so it kind of needs to be there, but I can swing it kind of up and out of the way. Pretty easy there, so yeah, maybe I can put the window back in the track, and then I'll put this bolt back in by hand, and then I'll put that on. So put our window in this back track first, because it's not going to move. Doesn't have any play for us. And I put it in at a little bit of an angle, and now I'm just sliding it up in that track and straightening it up at the same time. And now I'm going to attempt you hold it from the bottom and drop it down as far as I can in the back track, and then put it in the front track by bending that track a little bit, putting it in place. So now it's in that front track. Gotta wiggle it and get it to go up. Go up, baby. You really can't get your hand. There we go. Just sliding up, just like so. So now it's in the track. And I got it up here where it's manageable. There's a bunch of that crusty crap that's just laying in our track. Let's put this bolt in. Don't drop your window, whatever you do. Although in my case, it would probably just fall out the bottom of the door. There we go. So now I'm just gonna go way up here until I can get this inside that track. Like that. Bring it down like that. Now it's in that track. Now I gotta line my holes up, wherever that is, right there. Line up this other one. Ooh, man. I should have took those 2 screws out on the other door. Would have made my life a little bit easier. But the other door didn't fight me near as much. But if you ever seen that door, Grandpa was trying to back up in the winter one time and had the door open and forgot he had a big pile of snow next to it, the van, and kind of whamboed that door. And so it's been apart a couple of times trying to get the hinge to function correctly again. My grandpa did a good job though, because I've never had to mess with it. Sometimes you got to slam it a little bit depending on the temperature out, but if you got to slam the door, it's a tight door. Okay. All right, so I got those 2 screws in there and tightened that one up as well. And then I just put our hand crank on and rolled the window all the way up and made sure that it functions the way we want. Just like that. Perfect. I'm gonna spray some white lithium grease down on this, and I'm gonna spray a little bit of multi-purpose lube in here and get that lubed up. And then we're gonna put our 3 screws back in here, and our 1 bolt right here is already tight, so we're good there. The camera's getting really hot because the sun's out, so I'm gonna go ahead and grease that stuff, lube that stuff up, and get those screws in. I'll meet you back here and we'll put these rubber pieces in. All right, so I've got this all screwed in. So now all we've got to do is take our track. This one has the felt on this side. That's going to go up against the window, so it's the inside one here. I've got the window rolled all the way down. The window's in here. It's on the track. Everything's functioning. Like I said, all we got to do is set this right down in these little slots. Just like that. Line up each hole. Right like so. And just start clipping them in. Oh, I think this one tried to miss. Rut-row Rorge. Where's my screwdriver? Look at me trying to make it look too easy. Yeah, that clip missed the hole. So I'm just going to come out here and get my plastic pry bar. There it goes. Boom. Easy peasy. Just make sure that all your holes are lined up. I thought it was. So now I'm going to do the other side, same way. It's a little bit easier when you're on the back side here, but I wanted to be able to show you guys from either angle. Now this hole's right there, so I'll line that one up. Get these down in here. Put this end in first. There's that one. There's that one. Now if you just painted your car, you're going to want to be careful not to scratch your paint with those clips. There's that one. A couple more. There we go. Look at that. Now, oh, come on, baby. There we go. Had to get the rubber flipped the right direction. Look at that. Nice and tight. And it'll take a few days of rolling this thing up and down for it to kind of loosen itself all up. The rubber back here is kind of a funky spot. Pop out of there, buddy. Boom. There we go. But look at that. It feels stiff because everything's new. It's not all wore out and floppy. Yeah. Man, is that awesome. All right, let's get this door panel back on. I put some white lithium grease in this track, just like we had talked about. Put some multi-purpose lube there. And I even sprayed the inside of the door panel with some fluid film, you know, to fix it. It's fixed. That's just done. It'll no longer rust anymore. Although one good thing about doors, that the bottoms are rotted out. Anything that gets in there, whether it's rain, sleet, snow, screws, trim pieces, anything like that, it just falls right out the bottom. And if it doesn't, you just shove your air hose in the hole in the bottom, spray a little air in there, she'll work her way out. It's like easy access. So I got our panel here. I'm just gonna start at the top and just start lining our clips up and popping them in. Just make sure they line up with the holes, because if they don't, you will break your panel. That one's trying to not line up. There we go. You want to really make sure you're pushing right on the clip so that the force isn't going on the panel itself. And you can feel them through the panel. There's one more down here. Where are you at, little buddy? There they are. Perfect. While we're here, we're going to spray a little Meguiar's on here. Do a little bit of detailing. Oh yeah, look at that. Ooh, baby. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe my van is bringing sexy back. Oh, it's terrible. Oh. Next piece is gonna be this little piece of trim. I'm just gonna wipe it out with a little bit of Meguiar's. That just slides up under like so. It goes right over those screws like that. This is our latch handle. Now when you put these on, you got to put them on correctly. They have to go on up like this. They got to go on up like this. Oops. Drop my nut. If it doesn't go up like that, when you pull on it, it doesn't actuate the door. Lock. Latch. Have our armrest. I'm going to give her the same McGuire's treatment here. That. It's like a full resto. I did notice the poverty tour is going on right now out west. I'd really like to go do that sometime. I don't know if I'd do it in a van or my old truck. Maybe finish painting the Camaro if I could manage that. Cruise the Camaro. I don't know. But I would like to go do poverty tours sometime. So I hope everybody out there is having lots and lots of fun. Oh, this is the wrong socket. Doi, oi, oi. Now we just want to make sure that our window crank lines up with the other window. It is up and the crank is down, so that's the way I'm going to put this one on. Window's up, crank is down. That way when you're driving down the road, the crank handle weight doesn't slowly bounce your window open. With brand new seals, that's not really an issue, but when your seals are as shot as these were, it's an issue. You drive down the road and your window just slowly rolls itself down that far. But if you put your crank arms down this way, you don't have to worry about it. Look at that. And then when the window's all the way down, it's right here. So if the weight bounces, it's just going to put your window down further. You've already got it down, so you're clearly happy with the situation. Got a little bit of overspray on our rubber there. Wipe that off. And there it is. Let me get you in here close so you can see. Got brand new rubber all the way around that. It's nice and tight. The window doesn't rattle. Of course, it's got my grubby fingerprints all over it. It needs cleaned, but rolls down nice. Everything looks really, really good. This is a very inexpensive, easy to do upgrade to any classic or vintage car that you have. This literally, I recorded the entire video with you guys, and it took me maybe 45 minutes to an hour to do this whole job. Now I did have all the tools drug out. It's not very many tools, but you know, add 20 minutes to your project just figuring out exactly what tools you need for your specific vehicle. But yeah, that is an awesome, awesome upgrade to the van. Man, I'm so glad we got that crap cleaned out of the van and got this thing upgraded with new window felt. It's going to make driving the van that much more fun. No more rattles and clanging and banging when you're hitting bumps driving down the road. Well, let's be honest. There's going to be rattles and claddles and clangs and bangs, but it's not going to be the windows anymore. You know, the glass stuff. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful, entertaining, fun, Yeah, all of the above. Like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends. I'm going to post some other videos around my melon here of things we're doing in the shop. I've got a Facebook group. If you're not a part of that, go join the conversation over there. Remember, you don't have to restore your old car. The whole plan here was just to make it a little bit better than it was. And I think we succeeded yet again. So until next time, keep on wrenching. And check this out. When I shut the door, the window doesn't rattle. The bottom of the door rattles, but the window doesn't rattle. It used to go clang, 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 clang. They were just fighting for attention. Now you got nothing, man.